All right, guys, welcome to the I Am podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Fresh and Fuego and Powerhouse Fitness. And today we have my friend Ho-Ass Ariel on the podcast. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So kind of right off the bat, how did you get that name?
It was a joke. So I don't know. I would tell my sisters, like, my family's really polite. I like to say, we're not conservative, but polite. And so I would tell them my crazy stories, like, oh, I went out last night and I did this. And they're like, oh my gosh, Ariel, you're wild. And so it just kind of developed into like, ho-ass Ariel. Like, not ho-ass Ariel, but that ho-ass would do it.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so then I just kind of I wanted to start branding myself. And I was like, okay, I want to stand out. And, everybody has like the original or the one and only. And I wanted to incorporate my name. So I want you to remember who the fuck I am.
Well, you fucking definitely do that. So I'm going to cut you right there real quick before we continue on with that. Give me a little background about yourself, like a 1-2 minute thing so people kind of get your background story, kind of where you're at. Nothing crazy, kind of whatever you want to touch on.
I don't know, like what?
Like where did you grow up? Or, have you always wanted to take this avenue? Is it something you just stumbled upon? How old are you?
29. I grew up in Hacienda Heights.
Okay.
Come from like middle class, upper middle class. I can't say my family ever struggled. I always thought everybody was struggled enough.
Yeah.
So I know what hard work is. Both my parents worked. And so I would just always say this is so conceited, but we're good looking. I have 2 older sisters. We're all good looking. And I'm like, fuck it. I'll just be a stripper. So I think my family got so tired of hearing me say it. They're like, just do it already. Like, just go fucking do it. Like, see if you like it. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's pretty much what I did.
That's crazy. So how did your family was just super cool with it then?
Oh, yeah. So understanding.
I'm sure you get these questions a lot. Like, what does your family think? Or this, that, and the other?
They're my number one supporters.
Okay, cool.
I could freaking say anything and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. Okay. And they
that's
just
wild.
Jump on it.
So how did that whole stripper thing come about then?
Oh, I just would always say it. It's so bad. I would say it as a little girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm like, fuck it. I'll just be a stripper.
But I think, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, they would just laugh at me.
Yeah, because I don't think people think that strippers have such a negative connotation. Like not every stripper is an escort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of people think oh, this person's like a fucking hoe. She's fucking every single guy. And they're I'm sure there are, I know there are people like that, but I'm sure it's not always like that. You know what I mean? So people have I like going to the strip club. So it's not oh my God, these girls are all fucking dirty, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Because there's some high profile people in the stripper community, I'm sure.
Oh, that's so I don't even know what the word, I wouldn't want to say hierarchy, but there's 2 different types of clubs. And I didn't know, going into stripping, I had no idea how the clubs work. So there's 2 types of clubs in California. It's the 18 and over, which is fully nude, and then 21 and over. So the 21 and over is the topless bar. So you can't get fully nude, and the only time you're topless is on the stage. You have to be so far away from a customer. And so I didn't strip until way later in life. I'm old. And so I didn't have to do all the... I feel like you have to work harder when you're younger.
Okay, it's kind of make a name for yourself then.
Yeah. It's kind of I feel like when you jump into it young, you just you're so addicted to the hustle. And you're money, and you're willing to do... And this isn't for everybody, but you don't really know your boundaries yet. So I went into it I was already a mom. I didn't really need to do it, but I was something fuck it, I'm going to try it, see how it goes. So it's all situational.
That's crazy. And what do you mean by boundaries, setting boundaries?
How you're saying there's some girls that totally will go the full length.
Yeah.
So especially we grew up here on Valley Boulevard, which is stripper
fucking,
boulevard.
Miss Kitties and shit.
It's strip club central. And so I've been there younger, and I would see things and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this really happens at strip clubs.
Just picked up a beer bottle with her pussy right now.
I was taken back, this is real life. I thought everybody would just talk shit.
Yeah.
But some girls really do the most. And it's oh, wow. And working in 21 and over clubs, it's even I work at Sam's Hofbräu. There's not even a lap dance area. There's no privacy. They're how much for a VIP? And I'm our club's so different from the traditional club.
That's what I was going to ask you. When it comes to the VIP rooms or paying extra and stuff like that. I listened to one of your podcasts, and your guys' approach is more of like a club setting. Like if you were to go buy bottles and you're just like dancing at the table. So how does that approach work? Is that something that's like really brings in the cash, or is it like a new trend or a new way of doing things, or?
I don't think it's like a new way of doing things, but it's definitely you have that type of club. And so there's people that don't like it. Like there's people that come in and they're like, there's no VIP, I'm leaving. And that's not their cup of tea. But there's people that go in there and they want to show off. And it's like to feed your ego almost.
Fucking throw all kinds of fucking money and shit.
And it's so much fun. Like even as a customer, I think it's like you walk into a music video. Like if you're in that mood, like I want to just party, like Friday, Saturday night, it's popping, even if you're there to just watch.
That's crazy. Because I think right off the bat, a lot of the listeners listening in are going to think like stripper, VIP room, like I'm paying for sex, this, that, and the other. And like what the vibe that you're giving right now is it's like nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
That's crazy. How much like can a stripper really bring in a night? Like for something like that. Because if you're not doing like VIP and if you're not doing like these dances and stuff like that. Because I was in Vegas a couple months ago, and like they do the whole VIP section, or you could pay for lap dances, and girls are coming up like real pushy, and I've never been like a fan of that. I like just to go just like throw money on the front stage or whatever, but not like the VIP and shit like that, because I just feel like I'm pressed, I feel like I'm like trying to sold a fucking car or something like that, like trying to buy something. But how does that different kind of framework help with bringing in cash?
Well, I'm fucking super nerdy. So before I started dancing, I did do like, I Googled like how to be a stripper. And even like the first club I worked at, I was like, I'm the world's worst stripper. And like I would walk around the club, like it's called a lap. You literally do a lap. Like you walk around to show yourself. And then I'd go sit in the corner by the bar and be like, I'm pretty. Like someone's going to come talk to me. And it worked every time. But that's like, that's not good. Because if let's say nobody approached me or they're like, oh, that bitch is stuck up, then I'm fucked. But everybody has their own hustle. So people use the term hustle. It's so funny, you learn terminology. So it's finesse. So it's like, oh, I finessed him. Like I sat there and I spoke to him and I talked him into giving me money. So the approach before dancing, I was a bartender. So I kind of know, I have a few bars, like local bars, dive bars. The break room in Fullerton is more of like a club bar. I've done clubs. So I learn my customer and like who likes me, why they like me. And so I kind of knew how to approach it. It's kind of hard if you don't have that background, I would assume.
I was listening to one of your podcasts too, and it says like almost like, I forget who was on there. You guys had like a guest on there, and you're talking about like painting this fantasy for this person because at home they're not getting this shit, and then when they come see you, you're like, oh yeah, like this chick wants me. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you almost have to be like a salesperson. Yeah,
you have to sell yourself.
In a sense. Like, is that something that has to happen every night, or some guys are just willing to come in and just like throw cash just because you're hot?
Well, I mean, that kind of ties together, too. It's kind of like, oh, I'm throwing money at this girl. This girl wants me. And it's like, yeah, sure, of course I do.
Yeah, but that happens every night. Yeah.
You and the guy yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's always different. At Sam's in particular, I feel like it's a younger crowd. And these guys know, like, I'm young, I'm hot, I have money. They know what they can do.
Yeah.
They call your game. It's easier to maybe finesse older when you're on like that one-on-one at a traditional club where you sit there and you're like sitting on his lap, like, how was your day today? And blah, blah, blah. So
have you worked at any of those clubs or no?
I have.
Which clubs?
I've worked at the Palms in Signal Hill. That was the very first club I worked at. I've tried like Spearmint Rhino,
how was that?
Dames and Games. I don't like as when I was like working regular jobs, I never liked corporate. There's like so many rules and regulations.
Like Spearmint Rhino's more. Is Dames and Games corporate or no?
They're part of Spearmint Rhino.
Okay, yeah, because Dames and Games is the one where they do the boxing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even that, I'm like, that's fucking degrading. Yeah. Like, that's where I draw the line.
You're like, it's like, I remember being in there.
Shaking my ass half naked isn't enough.
Yeah, no, I remember being in there and they're like calling these like two chicks up to like this little cage and they're just like straight up like beating the shit out of each other. It's like full blown. Like, I'm like, what the hell? They're like really hitting each other.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. So, I mean, kind of going back to that, like because I know this is more of like a business approach that I wanted to take this. Like in terms of like your hustle going into a night, and say someone that needed to do this actually for the money to pay bills, put food on the table like that, what can someone expect to make a night, like take home?
Everybody's different. You can walk out there. I've left work once with like $30.
Really?
And you pay every time you go in, you pay a rent.
Yeah.
It's called a house fee. So every club's different. You can pay like $250 a house fee. And then tip out as well. So depending, like each club's different. You can pay
the bartender or something like that.
The bar, the manager, the security, whoever it might be, you need to pay. And then on top of that too, like traditional clubs, or like the 18 and over clubs, they put you on a payroll. So I don't know. I honestly, at the moment, don't know if... Well, this is all clubs now in California. Every club's different. I don't know if you still pay a house fee or not each night, but you're on a payroll, and then you have to pay like a percentage of your dances. So let's say... And then you have to meet a quota as well. So you have to... Like, if you're there at whatever time, like prime time, you need to be like put in so much work to the club. And that's, it's a lot of work. Like, you think like, oh, you show up and like, oh,
shake your ass.
I'm a crackhead and I'm just going to come get some money real quick. Like, no, you really have, it's like a job. Like, you have to pay.
Dang, you guys were like role playing and shit, how to like close a sale or something like that.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
It is like selling a car.
so you could theoretically walk out $30, but on a poppin' night, like what's something that you could hit like on a poppin' night?
It could be anything. I know girls that have been like, oh, I've made like 10,000
in a night.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
I mean, I think that's super duper rare. The most I've made in a night is like 3,000.
Wow!
And that's in like 4 hours. And I'm really working like maybe an hour and a half.
Wow!
Like I just show up.
And that's like a once in a while thing. Like someone really comes in and throws money, or those like, because I've trained a couple strippers and they're like, well, I have guys that just come in and just give me money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was like at home and I had a customer text me and I didn't even have his number saved. I didn't know who he was. He's from a long time ago. He's like, I'm here. I want to see you. And I was like, I'm not going in tonight. He was like, I'll wait. So I was like, fuck, okay. So I got ready real quick. I went. He waited like 2 hours. I got there. I was with him for 1 hour. He paid me and left. And what
did you make for that?
That was like $600. And I literally like went in, sat there, talked to him. Other girls were like approaching him prior to me getting there, like mad because he had his money sitting there and they were like trying to get it.
Right here.
Yeah, and then I come and he's like just talking to me, like throwing it at me, and I'm like, okay. I'm like,
that's crazy. No, because really guys like need that like ego stroke, or like I know because kind of in the fitness industry, people work out obviously to like look better and stuff like that. And, you know, obviously make themselves like a better, not necessarily a better catch, but just like that's one component to being like a well-rounded person is like taking care of yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And some people, I noticed that they're like shy when it comes to like talking to females and stuff like that. And you get someone that's like, all right, I'm going to go pay this girl like $500 so she could talk to me. And then like, that's like makes their week and shit.
No, I don't always think so.
No?
No, I don't.
Because that's how,
I think that's a stereotype.
Yeah, because I feel that like a couple of the girls that I've talked to, when they have people like on that regular, like almost like a residual income almost, they're just like, yeah, this person just wanted to talk to me, like stroke their ego, and they needed that like confidence boost to go like out with like the rest of their day.
Oh, I know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, not always, but.
So he just comes just to. Like,
yeah. I mean, definitely it's an ego stroke, but I feel like they go in there to have a good time and they want like a guaranteed good time.
Oh, okay. That's a different approach. I didn't think about it like that. That's
they're
crazy.
like, okay, if I'm going to go out to a regular club and pop bottles, like I might not be with a hot chick.
Yeah.
And so let me go to Sam's and there's going to be 5 hot chicks and I'm going to still spend
the same amount of money.
Yeah.
What's like an average bottle cost over at Sam's to get a table section?
I honestly don't know. Because I think you have to buy the table and then you have to buy the bottle on top. Because you could buy the table and just order drinks from the waitress, like the bar.
Oh,
you don't necessarily have to pop a bottle. But we have like different times where we know like certain celebrities are going to come in. So they do raise like the minimum.
The prices and stuff like that. That's crazy. Now I have like a bunch of questions. As far as like guys thinking going in there, because I know you said it's more of like a younger crowd, but have you like ever fallen for any of your clients or like, damn, like
fuck no
or thought like, hey, you know what, like I would date this guy or whatever?
No, not even bartending. I'd be like, but that's just me.
Yeah,
like I won't, not in my work, I don't mix work and all that. No.
Do you know people like?
Oh yeah, girls will be like, "Oh, I'm with him. That's my man," and I'm like, "Bitch, that was her man last week." Like, no, he's for the community. Like, he's not your man.
How is it like? maintaining? Are you in a relationship or no?
No.
No? Were you in a relationship while you were working or no?
No, not really, no.
No?
I mean, I was like, I have a baby daddy. It's been like 16 years. And so we try to like every once in a while be like, hey, where are we going with this? We reevaluate because we have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I can't, it's going to be so contradicting, but I can't be with somebody when I'm in this industry because I feel like it's going to hold me back.
Okay.
Like I need to be able to sell myself, view that image till the death of me.
Is it because like you feel that you like when you're in this industry they have to take these person's feelings like into consideration or like okay.
Because it'd be like, oh, I can't sit on this guy's lap. It's disrespectful. But it's like, that's my job. Like, I have to sit on this guy's lap. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good way to put it. At least you're straight up about it. Because I feel like, I mean, do you have friends like in the industry that have relationships or their man just like straight up cool with it or no? Or like all the girls in the club like have your mentality?
No, they definitely don't have my mentality. A lot of the girls like really still, some of the girls, and I can't speak for like this is just one club. I'm just like stereotyping. Is they think they're gonna be sold this dream, like this baller's gonna come in and I'm gonna be Anna Nicole Smith. Yeah, and it's like you need to have a backup plan. Yeah, but a lot of the girls do. Like I feel like the reason why it's hard to date a stripper is because she's a boss bitch. Like she's about her money, and if you're over here playing games, she's like it's so.
There's like 5 other guys waiting to fucking throw money at me.
Well, not just that, but it's like. I would tell everybody my favorite thing about stripping is if a customer pisses me off, he says something, I just walk away. Like, I don't even got to say anything to him. I don't got to be like, okay, I'll be back. Nothing. I just literally just walk away.
And that's happened before?
Oh, yeah. I had this guy and he was like, you're too pretty to be here, da-da-da. And I was like, well, what else should I, like, just because I'm pretty, I shouldn't be here? Then what should I do? Like, if anything, this is
hire you here.
The best place to be. Yeah. So I'm like, so what should I do? And he's like, why do you even like working here? What's the best part? And I was like, this part. And I just walked away. And he was like, what? Like, he didn't even understand what I had done. And then he chased after me after realizing, and he just threw all his money. And he was like, that was good. That's
fuck. It's like, here, you fucking left, and now here's all my money. So is it more of like, I mean, I guess that vibe that you get over there, is it more of like you like going to work because of like the adrenaline rush almost? Like it's like that party scene? Or is it something that like something else, just like the money aspect or like the people around there? Or what's like the best part about going to work?
It's like unlimited. So I can go in there and it's good like as a stripper too. So let's talk more about the business aspect of it. Is you want to go in there with your nightly goal. Like you should know your average and then you should always have a nightly goal. And it's so like adrenaline rush to be like, I met my goal already. And then be like, now I'm going to push it. Yeah. And so I've learned to do that. And it is like, it's fucking fun. And then there's nights where it's like, okay, this is my regular customer and I kind of have to like be here and entertain him because it's an investment. Yeah. So like I can't leave him and go be with somebody else. And then the next time he comes in, he'll be like, bitch, where were you last time? Yeah, that's kind of like what we talked about
on the podcast with you. It's like, because Emilio's a musician and there's like those gigs or those people that you have to maintain like a baseline with, 'cause that's like your guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. And then like when the other people come in, it's like, all right, like, hey, this is my guarantee right here. I can't mess this up because something that might be cool for like the night or two is going to throw off like my baseline. So how does it work now with like the fans only stuff? Is that like something that a different avenue that you take for like a residual income, or how does that work? Because I see a lot of girls, they do like the fans only or like that Snapchat, like, yo, go follow me on my fucking Snapchat and like pay this like fee. Like what's that all about?
That was, I had like no clue what that was. I had a friend, she's like, you have to sign up. And I was like, oh, I don't know who would want to see this. Yeah. And it's just kind of a separate income and you get it because like my DMs are ridiculous. What's your price? What's your rate? And like, what can I do to just take you out for the night? And it's like, no, I don't offer that service, but here's my OnlyFans where you can have me privately, like a different type of privately. Yeah. And I'll show you more and you pay. And so it's kind of, I describe it as like an online magazine. So it's like, basically, the way it's set up is kind of like an Instagram. So you have like your wall, and then I can message you. And then even for you to open the message, you have to pay. It's not always. Shit. I can set my own price. And so
that's like real exclusive.
Yeah, it's like it's what's good about OnlyFans. I haven't done Snapchat Premium. I've heard that it's like a lot of work, and I feel like OnlyFans is already a lot of work. Yeah. And
but it's more money though, right?
It's to keep up. Well, is Snapchat more money? I don't know.
No, I meant like that's just like an additional source of income.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've already, what I make at Sam's, I make that on OnlyFans. So I've doubled it. Yeah.
Shit. That's crazy.
They tell you to like have a backup plan in dancing, have another source of income. Like you're making a lot of money
like fast.
And it's so easy to just be like, oh, I'll get more. I can just go back to work tomorrow and I'll make it again. And it's so easy to have that mentality, but it's really scary. You have to have self-discipline.
So is it something that your parents have taught you kind of like at a young age, or you and your sisters like, hey, like to save, do this, like invest? Or how do you, what made that switch? Is like the other people around you like that are in the business? Because I'm assuming like maybe like your club manager or other girls, or it's just like self-research or something like that?
Yeah, but like it was self-research to begin with. And then I made really good friends with some adult industry stars. And they're the ones that put me on game. Like this is so like strippers don't want to put you on game unless you guys are really like when I first started working at Sam's, I was in the dressing room. Nobody talks to you. Whoa. And they're kind of giving you the side eye, and they want to like remember who you are. And then when you're out there, they're going to watch you work, and they're going to be like, can I trust this girl? And then somebody had made a comment like, oh, it's always the new girls that steal. And I was like, oh, not me. Like, I don't need to steal your shit, I promise. Yeah. And so you have to gain that trust, and then they watch you work and then be like, okay. Because I do it too. Like a new girl comes in, and it's not, everybody thinks like, oh, it's because it's the new competition. Yes and no, but it's kind of like we have to work together sometimes. Like the guys don't want, if there's a table of 5 guys, they don't want one girl. Yeah. And it's hard to entertain 5 guys with one girl. So you partner up, or it's kind of like
teamwork and
shit. Yeah, you get like, okay, like you and I kind of have the same look. Let's go over here. Like if they like me, they'll like you. Yeah. So, or like, let's have a variety. Like you have a bigger butt than me. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys like, that's like game planning and shit in the back. Yeah. Cause someone asked that question. I posted up on IG and asked people to, send me questions and stuff that they would want to ask. And that's like, how is like the locker room or whatever? Like, is it now is like that you've been there for a minute, like it's a lot different, or is it just like...
it's so different. Like when I walk in, everybody's like, even when I walk in the club, I can walk in and be like, hi, but that's just my personality. Yeah. I say hi to everybody, even if you're a customer and I've never seen you in my life, I'm going to say hi to you. And
that's like your job. That's like over here. Somebody walks in, I don't know who they are, I'm saying hi, It's like, it's kind of weird if you like walk past somebody and it's like, oh shit, like this is stuck up fucking chick over here, like...
Yeah. I mean, everybody has their own swag, though. Like, there's girls that walk in and they're like, and then you're mysterious. Yeah. So the guy's like, oh, well, what's she about? Like, call her over here. So everybody's different. But, yeah. Oh, I was going back to, like, girls don't put you on game in the strip club till they know you. And they'll be like, let's work together. So in the adult industry, they were kind of putting me on game. Like, this is how you do OnlyFans. And you can charge, like, $5 here, $2 there, and it's gonna build up. And it's like, oh shit, okay.
Dang. And it's just like and there's like a subscription fee, right? Or something like that. And then what do you charge for like a subscription fee for like fans only?
Everybody's different. So like there's like I feel like my following in comparison to other girls is really little. So I charge a higher rate because my stuff's exclusive. It's not getting leaked yet. I honestly just have like a certain amount of content, and I'm like, this is the only content I'm gonna put out for a minute, and until the new content comes out, like I really spread it out. And then
what's that content, like fully nude stuff or what?
Yeah, like pictures, videos, whatever it might be. It could be like ha ha ha, bouncing around, and or walking around my house naked. Like it could be anything, like, whatever you want.
Fans only.
I have like it
all.
I
wish there's these for guys. Shit, I'm like, hey, fans only.
See, guys tell me all the time, how do I get into it? And I'm like,
you gotta be a chick.
Your market is, if you're a guy, then your market is gay guys. Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know how that market works because that's not my market. Yeah, so I can't give you any advice. Good luck, I don't know. Yeah.
That's crazy though. So it's like someone pays that fee, and then they pay to open up a message, and then they could talk to you privately, but you could choose whether or not you want to talk to this person, whatever. That's this trip. So in terms of like put you on game with other stuff, what else have you kind of learned, like the business side of being in the industry?
Shit. I don't know. Like, you just have to treat everyone like, because as sad and shallow as it is like people are literally giving you money for you to be you. Yeah. So you have to treat everybody like so nice and don't be like stuck up about it. And sometimes it's hard. Like you're not in the mood, you're tired, and you're like, okay, but I still have to be nice and, put a smile on my face. And I don't know. I don't get offended easily.
Yeah.
So
are there like assholes that come in and like just talk shit, or everybody that usually goes in there is like pretty cool?
For like me throwing myself out there, like hoe ass Ariel, I don't have a lot of haters. I don't have a lot of like hate mail, I call it.
But there's other girls that do?
Yeah, like I have a friend and she's beautiful and she's so sweet. And I would have never thought she was like the sweetest person in the world. And people say the meanest things to her.
Like what?
Like just mean things. And I'm like, why would you say that? Like,
just
you don't
because
even know
she's a
this
stripper
person.
or a dancer? Or?
Yeah, just because she has this like flawless look and you're just, she's untouchable, and that's rude.
Damn, that's fucking crazy. How many of the girls there like have gotten like work done? Are there any like all natural girls, or everybody that has to be in the industry is like someone gets stuff done? No,
there's a lot of girls that are natural, and guys say it too. Like before they would tell me like, oh, I want you because you're natural, and I'm just like, yeah, I am. Like,
so does that mean a no, or does that mean a yeah, or
maybe?
Okay. So to be continued with that one. But as far as like your kids and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know if you mind talking about stuff like that.
I don't. I'm not.
What's your approach on like, because obviously now that people know kind of like what you're about, and it's like you don't have to go all the way and stuff like that. Because I feel like people think like, oh yeah, like no, she has to do VIP room, do this, that, and the other. Like, how do you kind of groom your kids to view what you do as more of like a business aspect, or do you have like a certain outlook that you try and give to them, like on what you do, or like how does that all go about?
My kids are older. My daughter's gonna be 13. My son's 9. So I told them, and I told them more because I was like wilding out on the gram. And I'm like, I don't want somebody to come up to them at school and be like, look at your mom. Yeah. So I told them first, and I was like, it's all marketing strategy. And, that's really hard to explain to a kid.
Yeah, no, it's just like, okay, like, hey.
They're just like okay, mom, like, no fucking clue what that meant. But ho. No kidding. And so, I don't know. My daughter it was kind of easy for me because that's when Cardi B was like really popping, and she was like, Cardi B, she's a boss. She had to do what she had to do, and I was like, well, mama has to do what she got to do too. How'd you get them new clothes?
You're like, hey, those some nice fucking J's on your feet right there.
But my kids are like the sweetest, and in their eyes, like I can't do any harm. Yeah. And it is at the end of the day, it was for them. Like both of my kids did. Well, they still do competitive sports. And it was like every day. Like my daughter was a gymnast, and she was 3-hour practices 4 times a week. Yeah. My son also did competitive gymnastics, and he was there the exact opposite days. So 6 days a week, I was driving to La Habra, like the next city over, spending 3 hours there, coming home, homework, cooking, cleaning, laundry, everything on top of it. And I was like stressed. And then I would have to go and clock in and like.
Where were you working at before?
I was the bartender.
Okay, so that was just your last job prior to this.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But there was even like a point in time where I had like 3 jobs and school and my kids on that schedule. My son does competitive baseball now too. He was on multiple teams. Like I was everywhere. And so that's when I was like, I can't, like I'm, not that I'm miserable, but it's like I can't spread myself this thin. Yeah. And I was, getting... I don't want to say stressed, but I was overwhelmed. Yeah. And it was like, what can I do to change this? I need to have flexible schedule. Yeah. And like, not that I don't like to ask for help, but I feel like I want to be there. Like I want to take them to school. I want to pick them up. Yeah. I want to take them to their practice. And so I made myself my own stay-at-home mom in a sense. Yeah, and like I literally worked around their schedule. So
you work, I'm assuming, from like what, like 8 to 2 or?
No, I'm like 10 to 2.
10 to 2? Mm-hmm. So and then you get home and you still could sleep a little bit and then take the kids to school, go home, chill, and then pick them up and do what you got to do. And it's like.
And then too, like I leave work at work. And when, even with OnlyFans and other stuff, I turn my phone off and I'm like, I'm a mom right now. Yeah. I don't want to touch my phone.
How many times are you approached by like your kids' friends' parents be like, hey, are you this person? Or like the dads and shit like that. I'm sure that has to be like a...
They do it discreetly, which I really appreciate. Okay. They'll like message me or they'll...
Like, hey, don't tell my wife, but I fucking follow your page and shit.
Yeah. I've had one of my daughter's friends where she would come, like I would go and pick her up and she would come over. And then the dad found my Instagram. And he wrote to me and he's like, I fucking love this. Like, you're awesome. He's like, no weird shit. Like, I just really, you know, I see what you're doing and that's dope.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of support. Like I hang out with all the, you know, baseball moms and stuff and they know. And at first I was kind of like, fuck, I don't want them to think that like, oh, I don't want
Like
her around my
anything different.
husband.
Yeah.
or something. And they're like my
bitch,
best
I don't want your
friends.
fucking husband anyways. Huh?
No, I mean, their husbands are really nice, but that's your husband. And this is with anything, like girls that do that, because you get that, like, oh, my man was looking at you, and it's like, bitch, no, I don't want your man. Like, he's doing it for you. Like, I'm not gonna ask him to do it for me. And like, especially if you have kids, like, no, that his responsibility's over there.
Yeah.
So that's just
so that hasn't been like an issue or anything like that.
No,
so cool.
not yet.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's like as your kids get older, you know, son has friends, like, damn, your mom's fucking hot. Shit, like, that's like another conversation, huh?
That one, I'm not prepared for that one.
Yeah, no, I bet.
I'll probably smack him, like, don't look at me. Eyes down.
That's crazy. So you were talking about a little earlier before we started this about like investments and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What avenues are you taking with that? Because I'm all about like investment, money management, and things like that. So
see, you're a lot better than I am, clearly. I don't know. I'm just I have some friends that owns like certain businesses and stuff, and they'll be like, I have one friend in particular. He owns restaurants.
Okay.
And he's been so nice to me, like mentoring type. And he'll tell me like, you let me know when you're ready, because like he does chain restaurants, and he was like
a franchise.
Yeah, he does franchises. So he was like, I'll help you do it. I'll give you exactly like pretty much lay it out for me. Like blueprint. This is how you're gonna do it. Yeah. So I'm working on that. That's like super duper brand new. Like we're just talking about it right now. But he's always done that, even when I was bartending.
Okay.
He was like, I see what you can do. And like he's always believed in me. And
that's cool. You know,
so
it's good
dope.
to have,
Yeah. So I'm just lucky to have certain friends like that tell me, like even the adult industry stars will tell me. I won't even ask. Like, we'll just all be sitting there talking, and they'll be like, Ariel, I've been meaning to talk to you. Da-da-da-da-da. You need to, like, I've been looking at your stuff. You should do this and that. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, it's so funny because when people say like, oh, you have to surround yourself with who you want to be and blah, blah, blah. And it's so true. I was always like, yeah, of course. But how do you get there?
Yeah.
And then now that I'm there and I'm around these people that are so successful, and I'm just like, wow, they're literally handing me information because we're friends and because they're doing so good, they want to see other people winning. So when you have those people that are hating and like trying to talk down on you, it's like you're the one miserable, like, not me.
No, I agree 100% with that.
And I was just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to like associate yourself like when you're doing well and there's like someone else that's not doing as good as you, and they're just like, well, fuck this person, or like, no, I don't want to put you on this, or I don't want to do that for you. But I feel like a lot of people forget, like, you know, in your industry, you and your colleagues are all business people. So like you said, you're coming into a ton of money. You know what I mean? You got to do something with it. Is this something that you see like long term, or do you like see yourself like putting this off to the side and maybe doing like fans only after you establish like a big enough brand and like go into the restaurant stuff? Or is it like you're going to ride this out as long as you can?
I don't know. I used to always be about a plan, and then they never fucking work.
Yeah.
And it's my fault because I know I don't have all the discipline. Like
the follow through or whatever.
Yeah, I just like to do what I feel like doing at that moment. Like I'm the worst at commitment. When people be like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" I'm like,
Well, I appreciate you coming today. Then shit. I'm like, fuck, I guess I go 1:30. Fuck, not gonna make it, bro.
No, I don't. If I say I'm going to do it, then I'll do it. But there's times where people are like, I have photographers all the time, let's shoot. And I'm like, when?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
stressful.
No, that doesn't fit my schedule. My schedule's crazy. So I'm like, no.
Yeah, but you need to do that because of like content and branding. Mm-hmm. Do you have like a strategy that you follow?
In terms of like OnlyFans, or what do you mean?
In terms of just like branding in general, because I mean, we just recently brought on, shout out to Ace, my buddy that's a photographer, and just to kind of give us like content for the gym, for my personal Instagram, you know, just because that stuff's important when you're, you know, trying to build a platform or whatever. Same thing for like the podcast, you know, people want to see like cool images and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. And even Anthony, like hooking us up with videos and stuff like that. But do you have like a protocol? Like, hey, I have to shoot like this many times a month. I got to put out this content. People like to see this. Or is it kind of just like, because your following is pretty big. You know what I mean? Like, how many followers do you have?
I think like 78 or something.
Yeah.
Almost 80.
I mean, you got a shitload of followers. So, I mean, obviously, like you've had to have done something right to like attract that people. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you have like a protocol? Like people that are, I guess the question where I'm going is people that are trying to build their Instagram or trying to, you know, grow a following. Is it that you've just been yourself that's grown the following, or have you just done some out there shit that's also attracted people?
I feel like I have, but it was kind of like that's just who I am.
Okay.
Like we went to Big Bear this last weekend. It was like a content shoot, so we were going to, take. Like that's the thing. Oh, I'm gonna be naked in the freaking freezing snow.
Fuck.
So we were at the actual ski resort, and I was kind of like, "There's a lot of people here, so I'm gonna go moon everybody and take pictures, and then they're gonna ask me who the fuck I am, and then they'll know."
That's a good way to go about it. I mean, I guess it's just like that's just being fucking out there,
Yeah.
But that's good for like your line of work. Is that like like everybody has like their own niche? Or I mean, you see like fucking 6 hot chicks fucking half naked in the snow. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna fucking look, like
Of course.
What the fuck? Like, how do you not look, Like
I don't know. I don't have like a necessarily like
game plan.
Yeah, I just kind of wing it and it works. But for the most part, I think you can be personable with me. Like my number one is like, you're so down to earth. Like you're so nice. And it's like, thanks. Like, because I really believe I am.
Yeah, no, like I know you seem super educated and stuff like that too. Where did you go to school at?
I graduated from Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Okay, cool. With a
bachelor's in psychology.
Oh shit. So I mean, I guess that helps with like the manipulation of people and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like I was already good at manipulating. Now I use my powers for good.
That's cool. Did you do anything with that or?
No, not professionally.
Okay.
No,
well, that's cool though. That's good to have like on your resume and stuff like that. I had a couple of questions on here too. I mean, what's I guess kind of taking another sidestep, what's the thing that you dislike the most? I wouldn't say hate, maybe dislike about the industry or, kind of like the daily grind or the hustle. Is there some things that you just kind of get fed up with? Like, man, I really wish I didn't have to do this or like.
No. I can't say there is. Like, I'm honestly, like, I have so much freedom and a steady income that I can't complain. And I'm always just the type of person too. I look on the bright side. So I think just the only thing that kind of scares me is it's not security. Like it's not guaranteed. Like there's the girl that fell. She's like viral. She fell
I know.
really
I've seen that
hard.
Shit. Yeah.
And it's kind of like shit. She could have broke her neck. She could have died. Like I have 2 kids. Like what if that was me? And then what? I have life insurance and stuff, but it's kind of like my kids need me.
Yeah.
So that shit's
do you
scary.
do shit like that at the club or no? Did you guys see that video? I was like, damn, she fell from like 30 feet almost?
And that girl's like, I've seen her perform. I haven't seen it live, but I've seen her perform and she's a beast. Like she knows what the fuck she's doing. So why she fell, I don't know. Before I knew who she was, I was like, maybe she was drunk. And then now that I'm like, no, I don't see her just doing all that crazy. Whatever. Yeah, like something happened.
No, that's like Anna's sister, Alyssa. Yeah, I used to train Alyssa. And I see some of the content that she puts out. I'm like, damn, that's just like intense stuff. I can have a couple of clients that they like to take the pole dancing classes and stuff like that. Did you do any of that?
Yeah,
or?
I know how to do a few things, but it's kind of like, I thought too, like, oh, you have to be super duper strong to do it. No, it's more technique. Okay. There's a lot of technique behind it and practice because you can do, like, let's say you can do something, it's not going to look good. It might not be graceful.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you work out often or is your like dancing like your workout?
No, I don't like to consider my dancing a workout, but it is. Like I do get sweaty and like I put in work because I just like to entertain. I'll be doing the most. But no, I mean I'll go to the gym. Like I try to go 3 times a week, but I haven't. I'm not that consistent.
Are all the girls there like on a strict like regimen? I know like
like crazy.
Yeah,
they're like vegan and like, oh, you're drinking that water. And I'm like, bitch, let's talk about water right now. Like,
that's crazy because like your image is like super important, So it's like I'm sure girls are like training multiple times a week, working out. I mean, you're eating correctly. Shout out if you need, trainer, Powerhouse Fitness, special Fuego meal prep, got you. But yeah, I mean, it's like a different culture. I feel like a lot of people don't see that. Like some of these girls that you probably work with are like 10 times more disciplined than half the people out there.
Oh, totally. Like that's what's so funny too is I thought like, oh, you're a stripper. You come to work when you feel like it and you make money, whatever. Like you live this laid back lifestyle. No, I'm not going to say bitches, but I do say bitches all the time. Yeah. But there's chicks that like full blown are so disciplined. They're on their own damn schedule. They're like, I wake up at this time. And just because it's not the same schedule as everybody else, like, oh, I wake up at 6 a.m. No, she's like, I wake up at 12 and I have to make sure I sleep so many hours because you can't look like shit. Like you have to invest in yourself. Yeah. I eat this, I eat that. I go to the gym. I have to get my nails done all the time. I have to come to work at like these hours. If I don't make what I need to make in these hours, then I'm going home. Like I'm gonna put that effort into something else. Like they're really like on it. There's girls workaholics. I'm like, bitch, you walked out of here with like 5,000 yesterday. Why are you here today? Like,
and you're like, hey, I want 5,000 more.
Yeah, she's like, because there could be 5,000 more here. And I'm like,
do
shit.
a lot of girls like live local? Because I used to be really good friends with a couple bottle girls. Actually, one bottle girl that's super cool. She used to work at Playhouse. I mean, not at Playhouse, at Supper Club.
Oh, okay.
Back when Supper Club used to crack. And she would fly to Vegas to go
dance?
No, to be a bottle girl. Do like girls fly in, or you guys fly? Like, do you like? How come you're here and maybe not Vegas? You know?
Vegas is a whole different ball. Every city, country.
Yeah.
Well, country too. There's girls that come out of the country to come dance, like, or you can go out of the country to go dance. But everybody's different. Everybody's game plan is different, and they say like LA strippers are the laziest strippers because we just getting things handed to us.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think Vegas. I mean, that's what you go to Vegas for.
When you go to Vegas, you're competing with sex. They're giving you. You're not even like the strippers. Like there's full blown prostitutes in Vegas. Like you, and then there's guys that like I have it all the time. Oh, I'm gonna have a bachelor party. I want to fly you out. And it's like, you don't even need to, I don't even need to be a Vegas stripper. I can be an LA stripper and I'm getting flown out for these private parties and my rates tripled.
Does that happen? Mm-hmm. You've flown out for...
No, I haven't, but I've had the offer and I'm just like...
That's crazy. I remember we were at the strip club and I was talking to this one girl and she was saying that she used to strip over at... what's this place right here? Sin. And she was just saying, she's like, yeah, like I don't do like this stuff. We just got into conversation or whatever. And she was talking about like a lot of the girls over here, like in these strip clubs, that's like the whole sex thing. It's just like dirty, you know? And she's like, I didn't want to be a part of that. So I went over here. So I was under the impression that like the girls over there too were like the same style, but it's like you're competing with, I guess, like high-end escorts too. Like if you, if you're a fucking baller and shit like that versus like the regular strip
There's
club.
also like, you have to get a sheriff's card. So, and I know in Orange County and in Vegas, I think San Diego, you have to go to the sheriff's department and do like a background check. And then you pay a fee for the sheriff's card. And then you go to the strip club and be like, I'm approved. Like,
wait, what?
Yeah.
Like that you're like don't have a dirty background or like.
Yeah, that you're not like, you've ever been arrested for soliciting.
Oh shit.
Whatnot. Yeah. Like,
dang, that's crazy. So like that's across the board, like everywhere around here.
No.
Or just
I
OC,
think it
San
varies
Diego?
by county.
Oh wow. Dang, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's super crazy. Let's see what the fuck else is here. In terms of like I guess to aspiring dancers and stuff like that, what advice can you give to them in terms of like, hey, like, is this really for you? Like, are you cut out for this or what?
It's
what
the
advice?
discipline. You need discipline. Like, because there's girls that, even when I started dancing, my thing was like, I'm going to drink because I need to loosen up. The worst thing you can do.
Really?
Like,
Why is that?
You don't want to be intoxicated. And like, there's always different reasons, but it's like you're putting yourself at risk. Like, you don't want to be too loose.
I'm going to step back kind of on that question. Because now that I remember it. In terms of like drinking to loosening up, it's kind of along that lines. Is there like because you're kind of like an actress too, in a sense, like at work, right? So is there like a role that you take on that's strictly for work that you're not at home, or is it like transparent in both places?
For me personally, no. Like, and I get it all the time. Which is your real name, Ariel? Yeah. Like you're gonna get. Like, I have customers come in, like, I thought you were going to be, like, super duper wild and you're a hoe. And he's like, you're chill. Like, you're actually relaxed. And then there's girls that take their, and I just had this conversation the other day, is they'll take their roles and kind of, I tried to have, like, a stage name. And I was like, I'm going to change my identity. And I just couldn't. And there's girls that do it.
Forget your name or something like that.
Yeah. Like, they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, Ariel. And they're like, what's your real name? I'm like, fuck, it's Ariel. But there's girls and she's like, oh, I had to practice. She's like, so when I went to Starbucks, I'd be like, this is my name. And she was like, I would use it for everything. She's like, but now when people call me my real name, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, and
yeah,
she's
like, you
like,
must
how
know
do
me
you
or
know
something
me?
like that.
Yeah, you stalker. And I'm just like, oh shit. Like,
so like that's something you've kept transparent across the board.
Yeah,
like.
And I don't know. I'm always just kind of like, the party one.
Yeah.
And even when I don't want to be, like when I hang out with the baseball moms, they're like, come on, Ariel, let's shots. And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking today. And they're like, come on, Ariel.
Like, you have to fucking drink every day.
Like, give me 2.
Shit. That's crazy because I always wondered, like, okay, like, is this like a persona or something like that you have to put on, or, you know, do other girls, like, they're just like straight up out of their element? Like, if I were to see them at like the club, like they're one person and I see them on the street, that's like a totally different person. Like, I wouldn't even know that they're a fucking dancer or a stripper.
Not that I've experienced. No. I feel like they're pretty much like straight and
like just true to themselves almost.
Yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, kind of going back to that other question then, as far as like advice and things like that you could give to people that were wanting to step into the industry, or like, you know, what advice would that be?
You got to have discipline and don't give up. Like, you have to commit. You commit to the discipline, commit to dancing, do research. And as nerdy as it, like I was telling some of the girls at work that I researched, and they like laughed at me. They're like, you're such a nerd. Like, I would Google like how to be a good stripper.
What is a good stripper?
Everybody's different. It's like you can't sit there and be like, oh, this works for everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, there's certain things where you want to make a goal, a daily goal, weekly goal, whatever it is. One that I read was so funny about like, you have to pretend like you're throwing a party and you're the host. So you want to say hello to everybody.
Okay.
And I mean, I kind of already naturally do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's funny. There's like little things that you do, and there's like certain Instagram pages that I follow, and like budgeting too. Like, how much should you really spend on getting your hair and nails done?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like you know what? It's funny that you say that, because I came across a page like through the Instagram thing, and it was like a business page, and there's like another page that stemmed off of it, or like a repost or something like that. And it was like a stripper like financial etiquette or something like that. Like, hey, you need to spend like this much on this. It's funny that you say that, because I seen that. It's just like, okay, hey, pocket this much change, or, you know, charge this much. Or...
And it's so easy. Like, as a girl, I know I do it all the time with makeup. I'm like, I'm investing in myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I did not need to spend $100 each week the last 5 weeks at Ulta.
Shit. Yeah, it's like fucking $1,000 in fucking 2 weeks. Speaking of that, how long does it take to get ready before you go on? Is there like a protocol that you have? Like, I gotta fucking, you know, do this like before you step on stage? Or are you one of those girls like running late to work, doing the makeup in the car and shit? Like,
I'll do like, if anything, I'm gonna make sure my makeup's good, and that's gonna take me like 45 to an hour.
Whoa!
And then, and that's just taking your time.
And is that at work or before you get to work?
Usually before. Like, the lighting in the locker room's not the best.
Okay.
So there's certain clubs where they're like, when you get here, you need to be stage ready. Like, there's no getting ready in the back. Or if you get ready in the back, you can't clock in till you're ready to go out and work.
Oh, okay. Because you guys are like on the payroll and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's certain clubs.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's good to walk in ready, because most of the time you have to walk through the club to get to the back.
All right.
And there's been times when I walk in and I'm in I've had a girl like, she comes like fully ready, like in heels, like if she was at dinner, a nice dinner. And I'm like, how do you come like this? Like, you leave all sweaty and nasty. And she's like, because I walk through, I can get customers. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I come in my sweats and I still get customers. Like, so I'll always walk in with and there's one time where this guy was like bawling out, and I walked up and I was just smiling, like walking in. And then he was like,
come here, huh?
Yeah. He's like, go change and come out. And I'm like, okay. So when you get that, like, you got to rush. So I'm like changing. And then I go out, and sure enough, he had all the girls pick up their money, and then it was just me. And then he spent the rest on me. And I had just met him in that second.
Damn.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Business right there. Right. 500, I'll be there. What's like the craziest request that you've gotten from somebody? Because I know I've even had clients, they tell me, I have a super cool relationship with all my clients. Like, yeah, I got this DM for a guy to fucking send me pictures of my feet or shit like that. Like, is that something that you put like on? Like,
yeah, OnlyFans. I'll put my feet up there.
Yeah, because I had another client. She was like, yeah, like this guy had hit me up and he wants like a subscription of like my underwear, like, every week and shit like that. Is that stuff that you do too? Or is like you have like a line that you draw? Like...
I don't do that, because it's just like, I feel like that's extra work for not a big
Okay, so it's like you have like price points and shit like that.
I'm like, is that investment gonna be, what's my return and how fast? And I'm like,
that's the businesswoman right there. That's cool.
Yeah, so certain things I'm like, no. Like on OnlyFans, they'll be like, oh, can you play with yourself and say my name? And I'm like, fuck no. Because then he's been going around like, oh, I'm dating Ariel. And I'm like, no, you paid me $100 to do that. Don't you lie. So I won't do that.
Just call it like 5 names and shit. Be like, here, let's just reach you.
Yeah, so I think I don't have anything super wild.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel like for me being so out there, I don't have a lot of crazy stuff.
Well, I mean, I think it's like for like the average person that is not as wild, like they think like probably your lifestyle is like fucking crazy. You know what I mean? But like if you like meet someone and it's just like, okay, yeah, cool. Like that's like, hey, I've been to the strip club too, or hey, I've gone out and done shit like that. Like it's not as fucking crazy. But I feel like a lot of people will live out like their fantasies through you, or like you said, just gonna go like have like a good time. Like, hey, I just want to fucking ball out and throw money, like, and you just happen to be there.
Yep.
As far as like any at the club, like any crazy requests or things like that, or is it kind of just pretty
just
simple?
Like the feet thing
at the club?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I've been at the club like, okay, can you give me a dance? Can you take your shoes off? And I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
He's like, I don't want to step on all this shit over here.
So and then too, I like to wear socks sometimes.
With heels?
Yeah. And so they're like thigh-high boots, and so you can wear socks with them. Like you won't
okay.
ever know.
Like Nike socks with like stilettos and shit.
They're like thigh-high leather boots, so you don't see the socks. So I'll wear socks with them. And then at Sam's, when you get in a booth, because it's like a club, so you get in the booth and your heels will puncture the leather.
The leather.
So they ask us to take your, when you get in the booth with the customer, take your shoes off. And so I'll have my socks on, and guys like, more than half the time, they're like, she's fucking dope. She's wearing socks. Like, her feet don't smell. Like, it is so funny.
Like, what the fuck?
No, but I like you.
Like,
You're wearing socks.
I know we're at the strip club. Just put a sweater on, like.
I had E40. He was like, yo, why are you barefoot? And I was like, I know. And then I had to, explain to him. And I was like, don't tell my mom. She'd kill me. And then he was like, oh, okay, I get it. He's like, at first I was kind of grossed out. And I was like, I don't blame you.
Have you had a lot of celebrity, like personal relationships? I mean, I guess where I'm going with this question is that, I mean, obviously you're put in like the limelight. A lot of people that have money are gonna go out and ball out and spend money and stuff like that. Have you made any cool friendships with like big time, artists or celebrities and things like that?
I have like some DJs, like up, not like mainstream rappers, but they're like up there.
Okay.
And
like names?
Don't know if I should name drop.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Keep that separate.
They're just. It's never been like, well, I mean, I'm sure at some point along the line, they'll, if I were to be like, yeah, let's hook up, whatever. But they've never been like pushy on it. Like, hey, girl, come to my hotel. Or,
No, I didn't mean like that. I meant like friendships.
Yeah,
and shit like that.
More friendship than anything.
Okay.
Like, hey, I'm going to be in LA. Like, football players too.
Okay.
Like, hey, I'm going to be in LA. Like, where are you going to be at? Okay, well, like they going to the clubs is a big thing to them. So they're kind of like, can you bring the party to me?
Okay.
I've had like boxers, actors.
So you meet a lot of high profile people then.
Yeah, and it's all through Instagram too. Like it's not necessarily
really,
through
they don't
the
just
club.
go to the club and shit like that. Just like, hey,
it's like half and half. Like most through Instagram, the other half. That's cool then.
So it's like, I mean, that's kind of where we're at, like a crossroads in my businesses and stuff like that. It's like Instagram has such like a powerful impact on like your branding and stuff like that. So you got to be like super active on that. Do you respond to like everybody's DMs, or like how does that work? Like in terms of like, how do you sift through people and be like, all right, this person like, asking for a dance, or this person, like, how do you have time to even check all that shit?
Like if they don't follow you and you get a message request, then I can open it and they won't see that I've read it.
Oh, okay.
So I do that before I approve it. But a lot of the times it's just kind of like, if I post something, they're replying to it.
Okay.
And it's like, not all the time it's something like business inquiry.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, being a dancer, you're super paranoid. Yeah. Because people be like, hey, you do private party? And it's like, I could say yes, and I could charge you whatever.
I don't even know who the fuck you are. Yeah. Do you like bring somebody with you, or?
So that's another thing too is I have this dope ass friend, and he just hit me up on Instagram, and he's like, hey, I want to be your security guard. And I was like, oh, one day when I'm rich and famous, like, and I can afford you. And he's like, no, I just, tag me, and when you go places, like, I'm gonna do it for you, but I want, marketing. And so I'm like, oh, cool. So there's certain events that I do. Like, I did my birthday at Playhouse, and I showed up. Like, there's been times where I show up and they're like, "You're hoe ass Ariel, you're wearing a turtleneck." So certain events where I'm like hosting, or it's gonna be about me, I'll show up doing them. I was in a see-through dress, and I was like, perfect. Like, I have a see-through dress, and I'm gonna have this guy here. Nobody's gonna harass me, and it was a great time.
Okay, cool.
And he was like, this is my first time meeting him. And he was like, so, like, it was so nice to have him there. And, like, I was there with my guy friends. But, guys don't care. But they see this big guy, and it says security. They're going to act a certain different way.
I got to fucking step back
I'll
up.
behave now. And so the next day, he was like, you party fucking hard.
Yeah, that's another thing, dude. It's like, you got to be careful, like, how fucking crazy you get, Because it's like the world's out there is fucking crazy. People do all kinds of dumb shit, like, so I guess, like, having that security and things like that is beneficial. Plus, you have kids, you got to go home and shit like that.
And I'm like, people are a certain type of drunk. I'm like the friendliest drunk ever. Like, I'm already friendly, and then I'm like even friendlier. I have this friend, and we were out, and she was drunk, and I was sober. And somebody offered us drugs. And she's like, don't tell Ariel. She says yes to everything. I was like dying. I was like, if I was as drunk as her, I might have said yes. Like, she's right. So
yeah, no, that's fucking crazy. You gotta be careful, because I know, like I said, a lot of fucking, there's like a lot of crazy shit out there. And then your line of work, you're just like exposed, like.
Definitely. And I feel like people try to push their limits and their boundaries, and they think that you'll bend. And so, yeah, you definitely have to be careful.
Dang, well, I think this has definitely been like an eye-opening experience for a lot of the listeners and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of people, like, questions that I post or just ask me some weird shit. I'm like, I don't really think you understand, like, strippers and, like,
I want to know what you were asking, though. Give me a weird one.
Like, how many dicks have you sucked, like, in one night? People think, like, people think, like, it's just, like, there's difference between, like, escorts and strippers. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like, I
understand why they get the misconception, because there's some that do both.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like I said, I feel like a lot of the strip clubs, like, around here are the ones that are like, oh yeah, strippers are fucking dirty. But, kind of from what you explain, it's just like you're dancing topless, but, like, from a distance. And is that like a club rule, or that's just like.
Oh, it's a law, like the California law.
For topless? Okay. And then, like, the fully nude stuff is from a distance too, or?
I don't know. I haven't worked a fully nude club. I don't know if it's the law or what it is. But I know that, no, it can't be, because I think there's some where you can be fully nude in, like, a VIP section. And so when, like, you have, like, a VIP room, it's kind of like cubicles almost. Like, it's not completely private. There isn't, like, a door. So, well, I don't know. That's the club that I've seen. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, because it's I definitely, I always, because I follow, he was supposed to chain with me too, but Manny knows.
Oh.
And I fucking watched this dude's stories. So I'm like, damn, this fool's living like a fucking movie, like, every night and shit. And I feel like it's just like, it's not like your typical strip club, like, VIP room style. It's just like it looks like he's at, like, a club, and it's just like there's girls around just like half naked.
Most of the time he is just at a club.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when he goes to, like, the stuff after, like, he's ever, I forget the strip clubs that he's at, but he knows that strip club. Okay, that's where it's at. Yeah, but it just looks like a regular environment, like, where it's just like a club environment. It doesn't look like your typical, like, fucking Spearmint Rhino or fucking like Sin or whatever. So I feel like a lot of people kind of, like, the approach I want to take is I want to touch on business stuff today, and just kind of give people, like, that insight as to it's not really what most people think, because I feel like now with social media, everything is just so broadcasted. So it's like people could see, like, your real self inside, through Instagram. It's just like, okay, well, she's a stripper. How come she's, like, normal? Like, because I feel like a lot of people were just giving me some weird ass questions. I was like, okay, well, like.
No, even my own sister, because I was telling her that I was coming here, and she's like, why does he want to talk to you? And I was like, I think it's more the business aspect. Because she was like, you don't work out like that. And then after I was like, the business aspect. And she's like, you're a stripper. And I was like, bitch. So then I broke it down to her, and she's like, oh, shit, really? Yeah. She's like, I didn't think about it like that. And I was like, girl.
Yeah, and then, like, a couple other questions. I mean, I got some, like, some people hit me up, like, what are like if you were to date a person, like, because people think like strippers like are this like outside like group of people and stuff like that. Like, what things are you attracted to? Are you attracted to dudes with like massive amounts of cash because that's like the only thing that you're exposed to, or like what are your qualities that you look for?
I mean, I could see why it's easily like maybe some girls do change their perspective that way, but no, like I said, I think a lot of it comes through like your family background or whatever you're used to, and it's never like. Money doesn't impress me. Like you can't. I mean, it does and it doesn't.
Well, because you see it all the time, you know.
But no,
so
not
it's
even
like
seeing it all the time. It's kind of like, okay, you can make a shitload of money, but what do you do with it?
Okay.
Like, are you really secure? Because I know guys that are like, yeah, I'm baller, da da da, and it's like you live with your mom. Like, what do you do?
I got this watch though, or like these chains and
like,
shit.
I'm in this Lambo. You rented that. Like,
do you get that a lot?
So no, not a lot.
No, but people just roll up to the club in a rented Lambo.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they're out of town, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I've had like...
they go like live a movie for sure. I'm a fucking... go to the strip club and rent a Lambo.
It's crazy. Like some guys do it. And it's like, oh my, you don't even need to be here. Like, or my favorite thing is guys like, oh, I take care of my baby mama. I bought a house, but my mom's living with me. I'm supporting her. And I'm like, yeah, fucking right. Tell the truth. Like, I'm a stripper. Like, you don't got to do that much. Yeah.
That's crazy. So what are those qualities then?
I just like a hardworking guy, like somebody who has like, and this guys and girls, you just have to have your priorities straight. Like I'm always the mother first. And I think it's because I became a mother so young. I was a mother at 16. Like I was a kid to a mom, and my kids are always number one. So if you sit here, like I'm gonna judge you as a parent. You sit here and you're like, oh yeah, I have my kid every other weekend. And it's kind of like, okay, but I get it. That's a schedule that works for you. But what are you really doing with your kid on, when you have them? Like, are you just like, oh, I'm going to take him to grandma's, like, to visit. And it's like, no, you're really taking him to grandma's because you don't want to really put in the work. And so it's just kind of things like that, like family aspects, your work ethic, like your attitude. I've been out with a guy, and we were just kind of friends, but he was like, oh, let's go eat. And he, like, starts popping off on somebody, like, for nothing. And he's like, what's up? Da-da-da. And I was like, oh, fuck. And he was, like, my friend. Like, I wasn't even, like, it wasn't a date, nothing. I was like, I'm gonna leave. Like, you're getting wild.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And I was like, you're fighting over fucking nothing. Like, that's...
Where were you guys at?
We were at the Grove. And so we were like walking into the restaurant to eat, and some guy like bumped in. The guy was drunk, bumped into him.
Like, oh, fucking look at me the wrong way. I'm fucking pop off and shit.
They started popping off, and I was like, I'm just
hey,
gonna
bro,
go
you fucking
home.
winked at me. Fuck.
For real. And I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm a lady, and like, you put me in danger.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what this guy has, who he is, where he's from. Like,
people are real quick to like step up to people, and it's just like, all right, is this dude strapped? Does he have a knife or whatever? You know? That's crazy.
And the guys think too, like, oh, somebody challenges me, I can't be a weenie. No, sometimes I'd rather you fucking be a weenie. Like, be smart.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if that's necessarily being a weenie, but I mean,
don't
just
think
like,
it is either. Like, you're being the bigger person, like, to walk away.
Yeah, because I did a podcast with my friend Brian on male and female energy. Super successful dude. Has like a different approach to life. In terms of like alpha male and female, and like what role women should have and what role men should have. And I feel like you just like I'm sure you see that at the club. It's just like a bunch of dudes together, fucking some dude just fucking like, it's like a dick swinging contest and shit. Like who's like the most alpha, or who's gonna spend the most money or whatever. I'm sure you see that a lot, and I feel like a lot of girls don't necessarily always find that attractive.
No.
So I feel like kind of that the qualities that you said that you're attracted to. It's just like, I guess the point I'm trying to make across is just like you're just like a regular girl too. Like, are they gonna be attracted to regular qualities? Not all these girls are gonna be attracted to like all kinds of money and shit like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for
I had a lot of cool
me.
questions. Now, these viewers can have like a different insight and stuff like that. I really appreciate you, taking the time to come out. But again, guys, the I Am Podcast, shout out to Emilio and Anthony for having or taking care of all the audio and video. But yeah, that's it.